Hello learners, welcome to YourPedia Education. So today we are here at IIT Mandi. I got an opportunity to interact with Professor Samar. So this video will be quite helpful and informative for all those students who are interested in pursuing higher education, be it PhD, MS and m.tech. So before proceeding ahead with the discussion, so first of all, thanks for sparing your few minutes sir, from your busy schedule. And please introduce yourself and your academic journey so that we can relate with you.
Okay, that is very complicated actually. So I'm currently a faculty in School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, and I broadly work in the area of communication and signal processing. And so before this, I was a postdoc in Chinese University of Hong Kong, and then before that, I did PhD, MS and PhD from IISc Bangalore, all in the area of communication and signal processing. So and I'm here in IIT Mandi for last close to now 11 years, and currently I am the chair of the School of Computing and Electrical Engineering.
So that's quite impressive, sir. So, sir, what are the different specialization m.tech courses under the School of Computing and Electrical Engineering right now IIT Mandi is running?
So currently we are running 5 full-fledged m.tech programs. Right. So one is in m.tech in communication and signal processing, one m.tech VLSI, m.tech in power electronics and drives, and m.tech in e-transportation, and then we started another m.tech program in computer science.
Right. Yeah. So, sir, there is a common misconception among students that if they want to join their masters, most of the 80% students join in today's world. What I know, master because of the technology trend, because of the high packages they are getting from the different MNCs. So you have a very vast experience in communication and signal processing. From industry point of view, I'm asking you, in what direction basically this research area is shaping because of introduction of technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning?
So AI and ML is anyway now being heavily used even in communication and signal processing area. Right. And then there is a back and forth. AI ML contributes to communication signal processing, and communication and signal processing contributes to AI ML also. Right. So for example, there is an area called federated learning. Right. So that's where it is distributed machine learning, but then whole thing is facilitated by good communication. Right. And signal processing technique. Right. So it works both ways. So from industry point of view, as well as from what we are trying to train the students for in their m.tech, basically to make them kind of industry ready. Right. And for that, we expect the students to come to us with good knowledge of their fundamentals. Right. Particularly fundamentals in communication, signal processing, basic maths like probability, matrix theory, and all those things. And then most of our coursework is, no matter which m.tech program you look at, the most of the coursework is oriented towards industry. So right. Shaping them for industry. Right. So we don't have very just theoretical courses which kind of lead to nowhere in the industry as such. Right. So the students that we graduate, so they are very much industry ready because most of the courses are pretty hands-on, and they are mostly based on various practical kind of philosophy that we have here. So all the m.tech programs have very small core. Right. That is it just prepares them for various advanced courses. Right. But then advanced courses are mostly hands-on.
Right. So are you taking care only UG courses, PG courses also?
So we take care of both. Okay. So in our school we have, we manage 3 BTech programs. Right. BTech in electrical engineering, BTech in computer science, and BTech in data science and engineering. Right. So their courses we manage, right. Plus all these 5 m.tech programs, right. Their courses we manage, and then we of course offer courses for our PhD students.
Right. In our Indian education system, on BTech level, we have some popular branches like electronics and communication is there, electrical is there, instrumentation is there. So they all equally are eligible for signal processing and communication. But if somebody from the computer science want to come into communication and signal processing, so can he cope up with the curriculum as per your experience?
Curriculum, yes, but then we need to maybe change the requirement. Right now, only requirement that we have for m.tech CSP, right, is that one should have written the GATE in ECE.
Right, too.
So once one has that, irrespective of one's previous branch, right, one is kind of welcome to join m.tech CSP.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Second thing, this year onward, IIT Mandi have taken one initiative that is m.tech research. So can you brief out how this m.tech research is different from m.tech?
So m.tech, so earlier m.tech research used to be called MS, right, Master in Science, right, in Engineering. Right. So that used to be very much different from traditional m.tech programs. But from this year, we have kind of, though last year we actually renamed MS as m.tech research, but this year we have actually made the fundamental changes in m.tech research to align it more towards the m.tech program rather than the PhD program. It is no more a research oriented program, but it is more like a program that is aligned with m.tech, but more of the say dissertation work, less of the coursework.
Alignment in terms you are giving more credit to coursework.
Yeah, no, coursework we are giving less credits. So for example, in our traditional m.tech programs, they have to do roughly like 25 to 30 credits worth of coursework, and roughly like again correspondingly 45 to 35 credits worth of dissertation work. Here what we are requiring is that okay, the student should do roughly 15 credits of specialization, whichever specialization one wants to specialize in. So one wants to specialize in machine learning or communication or computer science or whichever area. So 15 credits one should do that minimum. Rest of the credits will be the dissertation credits. So roughly like say 55 credits, 50 to 55 credits can be the dissertation credits.
True. Now coming back to the prime concern of the student when he is at the edge where he need to decide with what specialization he need to proceed ahead. The primary parameter is placement. So if you talk about the placement stats of IIT Mandi for communication and signal processing, so what is the statistic till now?
Yeah, so it is almost like 100%. Maybe there are barring one or two students who are perhaps sometimes not even interested in placement. Apart from that, whosoever is interested in placement, we do have everyone kind of placed. So even this year already the almost I think just out of 18 students, I think just 2-3 students are not placed who are not interested in placement. They want to go for higher studies. Everybody else is already placed.
So students have one misconception that if we are doing our master from communication and signal processing or some RF and microwave, some other allied branches of electronics, are we eligible to sit for the VLSA placement?
So that actually depends on the companies. From our side, neither from the school side nor from our placement cell side, there is any restriction on that. It's mostly the companies which kind of insist that okay, that we want only m.tech VLSI, because there are cases where m.tech communication signal processing students have done their coursework, a lot of electives they have done from VLSI, even their final year project is in VLSI, and then some of them are even placed in VLSI companies. But then it all depends on the company side. From a school side or from the placement cell side, from the institute, there is no restriction as such.
So right now, sir, basically, for future researcher who want to join IIT Mandi for communication and signal processing, so what is your advice that, what are the primary project right now going in the research lab of communication and signal processing, and how basically you incorporate the real-time application and technology trend into your laboratory?
Yeah, so we currently in our communication signal processing group, we have people working in all aspects of communication signal processing from theory to hardcore implementation. And then also we again, so this is like with respect to say breadth. With respect to depth, if we talk about, then okay, like again we work on say some really very old problems which are still open, like, but fundamental problems. From there to some very practical, just in time or in demand problems. So we work on cover entire spectrum actually. So we have, in fact, communication signal processing group is one of the largest group in the school. So and then we cover almost all aspects.
So right now there is one great dilemma for the all future aspirant or future researcher, that when they want to decide their research area, they are stuck at one place whether they need to go about the technology trend which is buzz around them or with their interest. What is your advice?
Yeah, so I think the better thing is that no matter whether you want to go for the fundamental problems or the buzz or the hot area which are there, whatever you want to do, but you should actually focus on the basics. Once your basics are strong, fundamentals are strong, see, trends will keep changing. If you specialize in the trend, then once the trend is gone, you are gone. But the thing is that if you learn your basics well, if your fundamentals are really strong, so you can move along with the trends. So because even when the trends change, basics don't change, fundamentals don't change. For example, in computer science, once you are suppose good at operating systems, networks, and compilers, automata theory and such things, let the trends change. These basics are not going to change. So what I suggest, in fact, that is what whenever we talk to students, this is what we tell our students, that okay, like focus on the basics. Trends will come and go, but if you are good at basics, you can move along with the trends. There are cases where we know about the students who have like during 10 years they have changed say 2-3 different areas,
Right.
just because their basics were good and whichever area they worked in they really excelled.
Right.
If you kind of focus only on the trends, then you are just stuck with that. So as long as the trend is there, yeah, you are in demand, but once the trend is gone, you are gone.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Second thing, sir, tomorrow if some passionate researcher want to join your lab for PhD, so what are those key parameter or key area you look into his academic profile that these are the prerequisite at least he or she should possess?
Yeah, so again, as I said, like we look for the basics. So your UG basics should be really good.
Right.
So for example, if you want to come to signal to work with communication signal processing group,
Right.
so we all look for people who are good with their signal and systems,
Right.
their probability theory, their matrix theory or linear algebra,
Right.
and then some bit of optimization.
Right.
And then apart from that, yeah, you have your either you would have come from say communication background, so
Right.
some exposure to communication courses or signal processing, then good exposure to DSP and advanced DSP courses.
Right. So, sir, one question I want to ask on your personal behalf. Many people are doing research in communication and signal processing with different institutions. So, if they want to work with you, collaborate with you for some problem, so is there any possibility? Is there any criteria that they can connect to you?
Yeah, so normally even now I'm currently working with the students at various institutes.
Right.
So it's just that okay, like their research interest. So there are some problems, for example, in which only I work in the country.
Right.
So if the student is interested in working on that problem or is already working on that problem,
Right.
so they do get in touch with me.
Right.
And then many times even their advisors in their parent institutes, they also get involved. So that's how we kind of normally work. So system is pretty that way flexible, and IIT system does not put any restriction as such.
Right.
So we can collaborate with anyone anywhere.
Right.
So as long as the interest match, we can collaborate.
So, do we have any internship opportunity under the School of Computing and Electrical Engineering for other college students?
Yeah, so it is like to second year BTech students, for example, the institute offers.
Right.
After that, it is up to the individual faculty.
Right.
So because institute will not support, for example, like there is stipend and other things.
Right.
But then if the individual faculty is interested,
Right.
then he or she can hire interns any time of the year, and from any institute.
Right.
So there is no restriction.
So it sounds there's a lot to look forward to, but we
Yeah.
need to wrap up it.
Yeah, definitely.
So any
If the-
final take you want to give, and for our viewers who are going to join IIT Mandi this session, that these are the key points you need to focus in mind.
Yeah, so I think depends like for which program they are coming to us for. If they are coming for m.tech, then I suggest that okay, they should be really good at their basics.
Right.
If they are coming for PhD, then they should have really thought about that they want to do PhD. PhD is just not another degree.
True.
So that's why they should kind of be mentally prepared that okay, it is a long haul, and then they should be kind of prepared for that thing apart from their basics.
Right.
Because PhD is very different from m.tech.
Right.
So that's why you require somewhat little bit of different mindset,
Right.
and then some also different type of preparation. That's
Okay,
it.
one last question I have. In Indian education system, what is the weight of publication, having publication in masters for PhD admissions?
It really doesn't matter.
Right.
So what we look for, again, we trust our interviews, our selection process. So even if you don't have the publication, we don't care.
Right.
So what we look for is that you are good at basics.
True.
Once you are good at basics, then we'll work it out. And even the PhD, there is no compulsion that you must have a publication.
Okay.
As long as you have good work,
Right.
and then the doctoral committee can verify or vouch for it that yeah, you have really good work, then you can even graduate without any publication.
So one question PhD student keep on asking time and again. They ask especially to me this question, sir, whether it's advisable to join PhD program and what will be placement after 5 years. So it seems illogical to me. What is your take on this? That if you're going to start your PhD, does it matter that what will be placement after 5 years, or it's only your work what matters?
It is really the work. So when PhD means that okay, like whatever problem you have worked on,
True.
you are the only person in the world who knows that much about that problem because it's a research.
Right.
So now depending on how useful that research work is to the industry or academics or some way,
True.
you are definitely going to find employment. It's very rare to find someone who has done very good PhD work,
Right.
which is kind of well accepted by the community,
Right.
and that guy is sitting idle and not having any job.
Right.
That is very rare.
So one last thing I want to know from you, you used one term, that very good PhD, right? So basically, how you describe or distinguish between these
So
two,
that is
very good PhD and PhD?
So that is like what impact your research work has on the community in which you work in.
Right, right.
So peer review.
True.
So even if you don't have the publication, there are various sites where you kind of put your preprints.
True.
And then depending on like how good your work is, accordingly people will kind of download, they will view your work, and then they may get in touch with you.
Right, right.
So it is about not about having a publication or something. It is about creating an impact in your community.
True.
Whichever research area you work in.
Right, right.
And once that community, and then most of the research communities are kind of so small that once you create an impact, everybody comes to know about it.
Right, right, right.
So it is about creating an impact, not about say having a publication. Publication is a side effect of it. Major thing is that you work on the problems which are going to be, which really your community is looking to solve.
True.
And then you, by solving those, or at least trying to solve those, you create an impact in the community. That's it.
Right. Thank you so much, Professor Samar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was
thanks
my
for
pleasure.
this valuable insights and experiences. Definitely will help our year. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.